come on in. You're at the right place. That's the sound of the big band era. It's called Hooked on Swing. And I just put that on simply because, let me start at the beginning. First off, welcome to my Patreon channel, okay? Even though I'm doing this video on my YouTube channel, I'm going to transfer it to Patreon because my Patreon platform is where early childhood education is going to be presented. It's called the Fun Factory, Early Childhood Education. And the thing of it is, the Patreon channel itself doesn't have a direct link to a video. So I have to upload my videos to Vimeo, and then Vimeo upload them to my Patreon channel. But I start with YouTube because, like I said, Patreon doesn't have a direct link to me uploading my videos. So at any rate, welcome, come on in. And today, I remember when I did my workshop on yesterday with the infants, I said that today, which is Tuesday, I was going to work on the lesson plan. And then what I did was, as I began to look through my really old notes, I found an old lesson plan. And I just want to share that with you to show you how things have changed, how teaching systems and mechanisms that we use have changed. Here is my old lesson plan. Actually, it was from a book. And that's what it says. Daily Plan Book. Lesson Plan. And the year and the month was February 23rd, 1998. For real. And I think it's Monday, Tuesday, every day of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we used to have segments. Like what's going to happen first. The different times. It had morning circle, fine motor, language, music and movement, readiness, and gross motor. And then it had the, you've done lesson plans. It had the boxes that you had to fill in about what you were going to put in there, what you were going to do, and how it fit in, how you worked it in to the learning process. And here I have coming together with new stories and songs. I have manipulating puzzles, Play-Doh, pegs, talking about transportation, how we get from one place to the other. And we had different cars and trucks in our transportation area. Mousercise, it was a dance I used to do with my preschoolers. And then going to the playground and reading stories. And when the director, our supervisor, would put her comments at the end, she wrote down on the bottom, super. And then this other one she put, great way to mix fine motor, science, numbers, and cooking, the whole language approach. So that's kind of the way it was done then. It's not done like that now. I remember during this period also, there was a program about Hooked on Phonics. There was a grandparent that had her grandson in my class, and she purchased it. I've forgotten how much it was, but it was pretty expensive. She purchased that particular program, Hooked on Phonics, and there was another parent that got into the Baby Einstein program, that was advertised on TV. And these programs were slated to help you and your child, grandchild, your baby, really be geniuses, more or less, especially the Baby Einstein program. I'm just going to put these to the side. But today, like I said, what we're going to work on is lesson plans that you would create. And your lesson plans would be based on the philosophy that we use now, which is based on the STEAM program, like I said yesterday: science, technology, engineering, art, and math. But today I just thought we would do a fun activity, which is painting. I like to paint. Not a great painter, I just put it together, but it's an activity that children love. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And speaking about enjoying something, as I was thinking last night about teachers and people I've worked with, I had to ask the question, And I said I would put it to the audience. I like to talk about attitudes and disposition. How do you feel about what you do? Do you enjoy teaching? And do you like children? And when I ask the question, do you enjoy teaching? Some people say, well, I'm not a teacher, I don't have a degree. Well, you don't have to have a degree to be a teacher. You're a parent. You're a teacher. Actually, you're your child's very first teacher. But suppose you're not a parent, but you work with young children, supporting them in whatever it is that they're doing. You could be, I don't know, a little kid's junior coach, or you could be in a classroom. We're all teachers to some degree. And I've just found that lately, before the pandemic, I used to volunteer at a couple of childcare centers, and I remember walking in, just listening to the language of the adults to the children. Wasn't very pleasant, yelling, "Come on over here," or just language that I certainly wouldn't want anyone using with my child or my grandchild. The adults sounded angry. They sounded angry, and if they're angry, what are they angry about, and who are they angry with? Don't take it out on the little person. Don't take it out on the child. So before we even begin to look into what you're going to do as a supporter for your child, your grandchild, teacher on Patreon, you have to ask yourself a few questions. Is it something you're willing to do? Is it something you really want to do? Are you going to commit to it? You have to be committed. And really, if you're a preschool teacher and maybe you're feeling like overwhelmed because you have a lot of children in your care, you know, there can be strategies that can be worked out where it can make your job a little bit easier. And whereas maybe you started out really gung ho at the beginning, and now you're kind of like being worn out, with the pandemic and so many other things that have come up. You want to get back to making it fun. It's always been fun for me. It still is. I have a great, and I tell anybody that's honest. I'm honest about it. If it wasn't fun, I don't see myself doing it. The kids are great. How they think, the things they say. You learn a lot from them, but you just have to listen. So, at any rate, when we talk about painting, and that's the activity we're going to do today, just painting. Children learn a lot through painting. We're mixing different colors, colors they've not seen before, and just to watch the change, in the colors, and it's things they can do themselves. The bottom line is, I've got students who paint, and they paint quite a bit, and I'm just going to tilt this down a little bit so you can see them. Let me introduce you to my preschoolers, okay? Hold on. Now over to, on my left, but it's over to your right, with the red shirt on, that's Sekou. Yeah, that's Sekou. Next to Sekou is Mina. Next to Mina is Xingwei. And next to Xingwei is Carlito. Okay, so those are my preschoolers now. Last year I had a different set of preschoolers. The year before that I had a different set of preschoolers. And they've come into my classroom simply because they're 3. And that's the general age where that is set for children at the preschool level. And we painted before, and we're going to do it again today, but I'm going to do the demonstration. We've done this, and I've had students, who are at the table, and they're just sitting, and I'm mixing, and we're talking about the different colors. And one thing I tell them, when we mix colors, when you mix white with any other color, it's going to change it, okay? And we get to see that. And suppose you have a color that you're thinking about, but you don't see it on the table. Well, what will happen if you mix 2 colors together? Maybe that might give you the color you're looking for. And it always comes out to, especially for the girls, it comes out to the color pink. So what I do is I start out with the white, and they all know that this is red. And I'm going to put a little bit of background music on first, if you don't mind. Okay? And generally, when we're working, doing activities, I'll have background music on for us. And sometimes we'll talk about, well, listen, what do you hear? That's a clarinet. Someone else will say, that's a drum. You think so? Yeah. Miss Sadie, what is that? I'm like, I have to listen first. You know what I think? That might be a trombone. A trombone! We have those kind of conversations. And that's what we need to have. conversations with our children. Okay, so remember that's the white. I know you can't see it, but that's the white. I put it in there, and here's the red. We're going to stir it up and see what color comes out. And generally a student stirs it up. They'll stir it up. Wow, what's happening? It's changing. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Saku, can you see that it is changing? Wow. What do we get? Pink. So, we start out with white, and we mix red in. You get pink. Okay. What about put white in, and then we mix another one. Now, you see that this is what? This is green. It's a dark green. Suppose you want a lighter color. Suppose you want what they call a mid green. Not an olive green. Yeah, olive. You know, olive is some type of fruit that people use, guys. And it's a kind of a dark green color, sort of like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix the green in with the white, and we get a lighter green. How about that? We'll call that a mid green. Yeah. Almost like a candy. Okay? So, what else? Orange. I'm not so sure. What do you think, Mina? Can we mix orange? Will we still get orange? You think so? Uh-oh, I hear you over there, peanut gallery. That's the young one. Yeah, you'll get orange. Well, we'll see. Okay, I'm going to squeeze a little bit in. I don't know. And parents, anybody, when I go to the store in the morning to get my coffee, usually from Wawa, I pick up extra spoons and I use them for stirring, for mixing. Okay. Now we did have orange, but it turned out to be a lighter orange when we mixed the white with it. We call that peach. Okay. Now, what are we going to do after we've mixed? What do you think? Yellow. But we got to put in first. Let's put the white in. You think we'll still have yellow? Like the sun? Or like a flower? Let's see. Let's put that white in there. And then squeeze. And generally, not generally, I always do. I allow my students to do the squeezing. Yeah. You get a big block, but that's okay. They squeeze a lot, it's okay. Now I don't have enough spoons, so I'm going to use the paintbrush to mix it. Wow, look how bright that is. It's still yellow, but it's a lighter yellow. Oh, wow, that looks great. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to move the paints off of the table. And I suggest to teachers, anytime you're using paints, make sure that you have a covering on your table. You're going to need it. Have a covering on your table. I'm just going to put these paints on the table behind me. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. And then what I'll do is just move these other items out of the way. And we're going to use the paper. We're going to paint. Sure. We didn't just want to mix the paints. We want to paint with them. I'm just going to move these things out of the way. Hold on. It's just a small working space, but we've got it. Hold on, I gotta get the papers. They're right up. Whoop! I need to go the other way. Oh, wait. I've got some right on the table. I'm gonna use these. That's great. I'm gonna use these. You can use paint. You can use coffee filters. We've used coffee filters before. And what we would do is, right where the indentation is, we would put different colored paints in there, and then we would fold it over. And when we opened it up, the children decided what it looked like. Yeah, I wouldn't say, I don't give answers for them. I ask them about certain things, and they give the answer that they've come up with, which is fine. Okay, we're going to start with the yellow. Wow. Look at how bright that is. Yep, we've got the paintbrushes right here. And you can paint with a variety of materials. You can use paintbrushes. You can use sponges. You can use those little animal They look like little wet rags or rugs that people have for their little pets. You can use those. And you can use so many different materials to paint with. And when you're painting, I like to call it their creation. Along with painting and when we're using crayons, I don't use the word color. I always ask them, what are you creating? They say, Miss Aiden, you have crayons? I want to color. I said, well, this is color, but what you're going to do is you're going to create. And after a while, they pick that up. They pick up that language, that word. They say, Aiden, can I create? Sure. What are you going to do? And they'll shrug their shoulders. I don't know. I said, well, how about you just get paper and you can create with paint, you can create with crayons, you can create with pencils. I let them choose. And the way the classroom is set up, they go to a table, they go to an area, and they do whatever it is that they like to do. They have the freedom of choice. Now this, and you may not be able to see that because of the lighting, but these are the colors, the pink, there's the yellow, there's the green, and there's the peach. The green is a mint green. You know how when you're working in the classroom, and you will be, with your students, different ones are in different areas, different places doing different things, as they should be. I believe classrooms are set up with a construction area, with a creative play area. Oftentimes that's usually housekeeping. They may have a music and movement area. They have a quiet area where the books in the library is. Trying to think of a computer area. Have about 7 different areas within the classroom where children can go. Now that it seems like they have to be at their desk and they have to be 3 to 6 feet away from their nearest friend in the classroom, their nearest classmate, it's different. So the way teachers are teaching now, it's quite different from where it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. So I don't exactly know how it's set up, but the activities that can be done are still there to be done. It's just that the teachers have to improvise how it is done. When it would be done within a group setting, maybe now it's just singularly. Like I said, I don't know. But I'm just saying for parents, grandparents, preschool teachers, anyone who supports the Patreon platform, Fun Factory, Early Childhood Education, you're going to be doing it at home, okay? And for the teachers are going to be doing it in their classroom. They will best know how to set this up for their class. Rules. I just have 2. All classrooms have rules. They have 5, 6, 7, they have 10,000 sometimes rules. And I always have 2. Never more than 2. Because the children don't remember it after the second one. They might have the first one is listen, they hear you. The second one is walk, don't run. The third one, be kind to your neighbor. The fourth one, line up at the door. Really? These are children that are 3, 4, and 5. And I'm not saying you should have rules, but make it simple. What are the 2 most important things you want them to do? Make those your rules. That's it. No fighting. Whatever it is that you want them to not do. My 2 rules are don't Google and don't drill. What do I mean by don't Google? If we're having a conversation, and I hope you are, with your students, let's say about transportation and railroads. Okay, railroad tracks, how far do they go? How can they go over a bridge? And you think to yourself, well, I don't know. Let's look it up and let's Google it. Now, when you say let's look it up, you should have books in your room about transportation, trains and trucks and so forth. Even a dictionary. Yeah, they're still around, a dictionary, okay? Because they learn when they look through the pages because they're pictures. But Googling something, it teaches them nothing other than to press a button. Gives them the answer. Drilling. If you can't find the answer, you just don't keep going. Let it go. Don't drill. You might come back to it at another time. So the 2 rules for me, hopefully for you, that you won't be doing is you're not drilling and you're not Googling. Look it up. You'll learn something as well. Okay? Yeah. So there's children's dictionaries. You know, dictionaries will never go out of style. I don't care how much technology uh, takes over. The written word will never go out of style. So basically, what I've done, you see Kermit over here. Where's he on the other side? There he is. There's Kermit. There's the other little frogs in there. That's all part of the classroom setting. You see all of the books displayed. And I put that up like that simply because I want you to understand how crucial, how important it is that the books come to you and your children and that they begin their own personal library. And if they already have one, this is just going to add to it. It's just going to add to it. And the stories that they will be getting will be a lot of them will be based on whatever it is we're learning at the time, or maybe it won't. It could just be a fun book, a fun story, and your child will get it and they can add it to their library. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I need to cover? Hold on a second, I believe there is. Now here's a book that says All About Me, okay? And inside, we're talking about your body parts, really. Head and shoulders, hands and feet, pat a cake meaning your hands. Um, you have eyes to see, you can play Davy in the mirror, I can make sounds. And this is for children that are growing and developing. You know, some people may think it's strictly for infants. No, or toddlers, not necessarily. Because, well, we all have a face. But when we're talking all about me, I'm always interested in how do you feel? How does a child feel? How do they interact with what's around them, their friends, their family? You know, how do they act when the parent comes to pick them up, or maybe a grandparent, or perhaps a neighbor, depending on who's coming to pick them up? That's part of their environment, really. Just as school is part of their environment, home, the interactions that they have. So, in early childhood education, that's all a part of it. And we need to be aware of and think in terms of the whole child, the whole child. Not just what they're doing within your classroom, but what about when they're not? When they're home with their siblings? You know, a lot of information, if you and you should have conversations with their parents about it, it will give you some insight into that little person. And then when you and he or she develop a relationship, it kind of all comes together, you know, with whatever it is you're doing and how you can help them grow and develop as you continue to grow and develop. Now, for today, that's pretty much it as far as uploading this to my Patreon platform. They don't call it a channel, they call it a platform. And what you just need to do is go to Patreon, look up Fun Factory, Early Childhood Education, Sadie Love, and that's where this video will show up. And if you feel though you want to be a part of it, that's why I'm just doing these little activities and haven't really gotten into the beginning of a lesson plan per se, but what we're going to be doing for the month of the remainder of September and then into October. I like people to get used to the idea first and see if they feel it's for them and their family, their little ones. Even if you don't have young children, you may just want to support uh, the platform so that children can still, very young children can still have their own personal library in your home. So I hope you sign on for that. And like I said, if you go to Patreon, I keep calling it a channel, but you go to the Patreon platform under Fun Factory, Early Childhood Education, Sadie Love, then the instructions will be there of how you support it financially with $5 pledge, that $5 tier, $10 pledge at the $10 tier, or the $20 pledge at the $20 tier. Because there's different materials that are going to be coming your way depending on what tier you've signed up for. So, today is Tuesday, so tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're going to do a little science, okay? And Chef Combo will be coming by. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Oh gosh, you better cook something. So yeah. So I'll throw something together that we can cook with Chef Combo. Oh, I'll never hear the end of it. But in the meantime, I'll see you in the classroom.